Good day, everyone. I am Aina Di Makaling. So now, I am going to discuss Article 3, 4, and 5 under Republic Act 9298. Let's now first discuss Article 3, which talks about examination, registration, and licensure. All applicants for registration for the practice of accountancy shall be required to undergo a licensure examination to be given by the board. So, an examinee should be first a Filipino citizen and is of good moral character. Third, is a holder of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Accountancy conferred by a school, duly recognized or accredited by the CHED. So, pagdating dito, may mga iba pa ring nagtatanong kung paano daw yung graduate na hindi BSA program. Kasi, alam naman natin ng mga 90-something, ang degree na inaalaw para makapag-take ng CP board exam is bachelor's degree, usually in business administration, pero major in accountancy. So, ang tanong ng mga ibang tao, tulad ko, kasi business ad yung parents ko, yung one of my parent, so, ang tanong is, pwede pa ba silang mag-take ng exam up until now? So, actually, may transition provision ang Republic Act 9298 that all bachelor's degree graduates, major in accountancy, shall be allowed to take CPA licensure examination within years from the effectivity of Republic Act 9298, subject to approval by the Commission. So, the effectivity of Republic Act 9298 is May 2006. So, ibig sabihin, as of now, bawal na talaga mag-take ng exam yung mga hindi BSA graduates. So, for the last qualifications, an examinee has not been convicted of any criminal offense involving moral turpitude. So, next, other qualifications of applicants for examination. So, these following documents shall be submitted in support of the above requirements. First, a certificate of live birth in National Statistics Office, NSO. Siyempre, para mapatunayan natin na ikaw ay Filipino citizen. Next is marriage contract and NSO security paper for married female applicants. So, remember, Nire-require lang ang marriage contract pag married female ka. Take note yun ha. Kapag ang lalaki naman ang married, no need na itong requirement. No need na ang marriage contract because hindi naman nagbabago ang apelyido ng lalaki. Next is college diploma, TOR, NBI clearance, and other documents that the board may require. So now, let's talk about scope of examination. So, sa board exam, may 6 subjects tayo. Auditing, Management Advisory Services, Financial Accounting and Reporting, Advanced Financial Accounting and Reporting, Regulatory Framework for Business Transactions, and lastly, the Taxation. Guys, always remember that the board may change the subject and their syllabi as the need arises, provided that the change shall not be more often than every 3 years. So, pagdating talaga sa mga subjects na to, alam naman natin na before pa is 7 sila, kasama yung TOA. So, from 7, naging 6. So, nangyari yan during May 2016 batch. So, it means, kung gustuhin man ng BOA na baguhin yung composition ng subject, pwede lang nila gawin yun after 3 years ulit. Kasi nga, hindi pwedeng more often more than 3 years ang pagpalit according sa Republic Act 9298. So, there is a possibility na magpalit sila ulit in the near future. So, as of 2019 batch, wala pa. Hindi sila nagpalit. So, as for the rating in the licensure examination, to be qualified as having passed the licensure examination for accountants, a candidate must obtain a general average of 75% with no grade lower than 65% in any given subject. So, if you belong to the passers, you shall be required to take an oath of profession. In other words, you need to attend the oath taking. So, if the candidate fails to obtain at least a general average of 75% and a rating of at least 65% in each of the subjects re-examined, an examinee shall be considered as failed in the entire examination. So, failing in 2 complete CPA board exams shall be disqualified from taking another set of examinations unless an examinee submits evidence to the board that he or she enrolled in and completed at least 24 units of subject given in the licensure examination. Actually, if di ka pumasa, may pag-asa pa. If and only if you are in a conditional situation. In the event you obtain the rating of 75% and above in at least a majority of subjects as provided for this act, then you shall receive a conditional credit for the subjects you passed. That you shall take an examination in the remaining subjects within 2 years from the preceding examination. So, as for the report of ratings, within 10 days after the examination. So, unless extended for just cause. Issuance of Certificate of Registration (COR) and Professional Identification Card (PIC). COR shall bear the signature of the chairperson of the commission and the chairman and members of the board, stamped with the official seal of the commission and of the board. So, Certificate of Registration shall be issued to examinees who pass the licensure examination, of course. So, next is the PIC, the Personal Identification Card, bearing the registration number, date of issuance, expiry date, duly signed by the chairperson of the commission. So, the registrant has paid the prescribed fee for the annual registration for 3 years. So, actually, the renewal or the reissuance of PIC is every 3 years. Next is the refusal to issue, suspension, revocation of Certificate of Registration and PIC. Number 1, convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude or to any person of unsound mind. Number 2, has falsely misrepresented himself in his application for examination. Number 3, for any unprofessional or unethical conduct, malpractice, violation of any of the provisions of this act, the CPA's Code of Ethics. So, itong number 1 at saka number 2, these are the grounds for refusal to issue. Tapos, itong 1, 2, 3, lahat nito are grounds for suspension or revocation of COR and PIC. So, after the expiration of 2 years, the board may reinstate the validity of revoked COR in its discretion and may exempt the applicant from taking another examination. So now, let's talk about the Article number 4, Practice of Accountancy. Prohibition in the practice of accountancy. No one shall practice accountancy or use the title CPA without a certification of registration and professional identification card issued by the board. So, yun, hanggat hindi tayo pumapasa sa board exam, we can never use the title CPA after our name. Member in an accredited professional organization, engaged in public practice register which commission and board renewed every 3 years, shall follow the requirements, rules, and the regulation on CPA promulgated by the board. Use seal of a design prescribed by the board. All CPA and his staff working papers confidential. Not a citizen of the Philippines. So, for those people who is not a citizen of the Philippines, is not allowed to practice accountancy unless that person can prove that the country of which he or she is a citizen, subject, or national admits a citizen of the Philippines to the practice of the same profession without restriction. As for the special and temporary permit, foreign CPA whose service is essential for the development of the country. These are consultation, engaged as professor, lecturer, internationally recognized expert. So the limitation of the practice of public accountancy. Single practitioners and partners of partnership organized for the practice of public accountancy shall be registered CPAs in the Philippines. Certificate of accreditation. Registrant has acquired a minimum of 3 meaningful experience in any of the areas of the public practice including taxation. So, actually, hindi lahat pwede mag-practice ng public accountancy. Ang pwede lang ay ang certificate of accreditation. Ang requirement ay first CPD units at second ay 3 years of meaningful experience. So pagdating sa meaningful experience, nakalista dito para malaman natin kailan ba siya mako-consider as meaningful experience. Commerce and industry, academe, government, public practice. So, take note natin ha, na ang COA natin ay pwede mong makuha. What do you mean by COA? Certificate of Accreditation. So, ang COA natin ay pwede mong makuha sa kahit na anong field. It's either commerce, academe, government, or public practice. Kaya nga nilatag ng Republic Act 9298. So, hindi porket ginagamit ang Certificate of Accreditation sa public accountancy ay for public accountancy lang yon. Actually, pwede kang magkaroon ng Certificate of Accountancy coming from different fields. Pero ang medyo maigpit lang talaga ay sa public practice. Kasi kailangan at least 1 year as audit assistant and at least 2 years as auditor in charge of the audit engagement covering full audit functions of significant clients. So, as for the renewal and expiration, so valid siya for 3 years, tapos it will expire on December 31 of the 3rd year. So now, let's talk about Article 5, Penal and Final Provisions. As for the penal provision, any person who shall violate any provisions of Republic Act 9298 or this IRR as promulgated by the board subject to the approval of the Commission shall, upon conviction, be punished by a fine of not less than 50,000 or by imprisonment for a period of not exceeding 2 years or pareho. So, mas masakit kung pareho, di ba? As for the duty of enforcing the Act, within 90 days, pagkatapos ng effectivity of Republic Act 9298, the Board, subject to the approval of the Commission and in coordination with the APO, shall adopt and promulgate such rules and regulations to carry out the provisions of Republic Act 9298. Tapos, shall be effective 15 days following their publication in the official gazette or in any major daily newspaper of general circulation. So the effectivity is 15 days. That's all. Thank you.